Good morning. Let us chant this mantra and begin the discussion. Shantakaram Bhujagashayanam Padmanabham Suresham Vishwadharam Gagana Sadrisham Meghavarnam Shubhangam Lakshmi Kantam Kamalanayanam Yogi Dhyanagamyam Bande Vishnum Bhavabhayaharam Sarvalokaika Natham. That in the 11th skanda of the Bhagavata, we found the Uddhava, the friend and the follower of Sri Krishna, requesting the Lord not to give up his body. And why? Because he said, if you go away, if you die, then who will be guiding us? So you must continue, you must live. Krishna was living for a long time. Even then, Uddhava was not ready to be separated from him. So naturally, the devotee's mind. And there, Sri Krishna told him the story of the Dattatreya Avadhuta, who learned from the nature. So a time should come when we should become our own teacher. So Dattatreya Avadhuta, he learned from the nature and became his own guru. And we have the last few days we discussed about the Dattatreya Avadhuta. And this, his realization and his teaching takes us to the highest position of the Hinduism. Here in the last discourse, the November 3rd, on the topic Do We Die, the last Sunday, we got the answer from the Dattatreya Avadhuta. And he said, no, we cannot die. Why? Ahameva Shiva Paramatma iti. So that is the answer of the Dattatreya. Ahameva Shiva Paramartha. I am the ultimate reality which never changes. So death means change, birth means change. It cannot be possible when we are feeling that we are the ultimate reality. That is Avadhuta Gita. It's very difficult to understand. But at the same time, this is the truth. Avadhuta Gita, it tells that this is the truth, the highest point. Then Bhagavata informed us that the Bhagavan Vishnu, to keep his promise, took birth as a son of Atri and Anushuva. Dattatreya also was the Lord Vishnu incarnate. Again, we find, and here, as a Dattatreya, the Lord Vishnu is giving us the highest knowledge. And it says, Ahameva Shiva. And those who have attended the classes, you know, again and again and again and again, Dattatreya said, whom I am going to worship? How it is possible to worship? Because I am that Supreme God. Can I worship myself? So that way, now again we find the same Lord Vishnu taking the incarnation. And he took birth as the son of Atri and Anushuva. Atri the father, Anushuva, and they became the Dattatreya. Lord Vishnu the preserver of the universe, also took the birth as an illustrious son of the ascetic, the great ascetic, and he was the Prajapati also, Kardama. Who was the Prajapati? Those who took the responsibility to generate. So many progeny should be there because it was the beginning of the creation. So there was a position that's called Prajapati. So there were many Prajapatis also there. They were great ascetics. Their mind was constantly merged with the Brahman, the supreme knowledge. At the same time, as because they took the responsibility, so it is not for the physical comfort, it was only as a duty, as a responsibility they used to do. That great difference. So we also sell books, and booksellers also sell books. What is the difference? We sell books with an idea that this will help the reader, so we sell the books. And why we sell, we can't distribute freely because we don't have that capacity. So we, whatever the expenses are incurred, we calculate and make a value and then we sell the book, but not for our own personal profit. It's not our business, it's a mission. Similarly, the Prajapatis, it was the mission because the God himself said to them that you have to generate. So Kardama Prajapati, he married Devahuti. The Kardama and Devahuti, their son was our this Kapila. The Shayambhu Manu. See, those who are studying the Hindu, the scripture, so one is the Brahman. Then come a group of people that's called Manu. Manu is the supreme Lord, the ruler of that whole creation for a period of time. That period is a long, long period. And under him, or with him, we can say, these Prajapatis, they are in many numbers. So the Manu, his daughter is Devahuti. He is coming and humbly requesting the Kardama to marry his daughter, Devahuti. He was having 3 daughters. 2 daughters are already married, that last one. And Kardama, without any argument, agreed. Why? Because when he was meditating, suddenly he saw the form of Vishnu. There is also description is there. And we have already described all these things in our previous discourses. This time, the Vishnu told Kardama, you prayed that I should give a vision to you, I have given. Now, you are liberated, but you have to do something for me. What is that? You have to marry Devahuti, and I will born as your son. Very recently, in 1836, we see the same thing. The Vishnu, he is requesting the father of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, I like to become your son. Some people may believe it, some may not. But this is the truth. Because this Supreme Lord, who is all-pervading and all-powerful, he is very eager to help us, the human being. Dharma Rakshanaya, again and again in the Bhagavad Gita, very clearly he said that I have to protect the dharma, the righteousness. Some people are really good and I must guide them. And we will come to that point here. And this time the Vishnu took the name Kapila, the son of Kardama and Devahuti. And here we find that we started, those who are regularly attending this class or listening to the YouTube, you know that we started the Bhagavatam as a guide to liberation from March 4th, 2018. And we are going to complete 2019, and maybe a half or complete of 2020 we will continue the Bhagavatam. And on September 2018 we discussed in details how the Supreme Being, desirous to become many, divided himself in three parts. So here I am quoting from that previous one. It said, Eko nanatvam annichan mayaya vyasrijat tridha. The Supreme Lord, he became desirous. He wanted to become many. There was nothing else. Please remember, the scripture that you are studying is a devotional scripture. The scripture of love, scripture of devotion. And here, God is separate and we are separate. That conception is also there. But at the same time, in the beginning, it says that in as a second skandha, that is almost in the beginning of the scripture, it says, Eko nanattam. I am one, nanattam. Nana means different, many. Annichan, desirous to become many. Mayaya, this is the word again used in the Bhagavata. Mayaya, through my power, Vyasrijat Tridha, divided into three parts, into three divisions. What? Divine, then human, and then matter. Adi Daiva, then Adi Bhuta, then Adhyatma. Adhyatma means the being. All the three, whatever we see in this phenomena is nothing but the manifestation of the same God. Why? Because there was nothing else but that Supreme Being. And Adi Daiva, that is also nothing but the same God, and what we are, the same God. This is really, really very confusing. That God we are worshipping, and I who am worshipping, and the material that I am using to worship is nothing but the same. Isn't it? So this is very, very confusing, but at the same time, this is the only answer. What is liberation? Understanding this. Understanding that I and the material and my God are nothing but the same one. Now again, if you go back to the realization of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, this is the scripture that says, has anyone realized it? Yes. In our time, Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, he is telling, I saw the goddess Kali and all the things that I use for puja and myself and each and everything that I see is nothing but made of the same consciousness. That was his realization. The one person came and she was telling, Swamiji, you don't have gods? And God, but why? We have God over here. She didn't say anything, but I could read from her face that she cannot accept a human being. How can it be a God? I also didn't argue. It takes time, understanding. So he said, no, Anjaneya. Anjaneya means the Mohavi. Of course, Kali, goddess Kali. She was not very happy with the Kali, but still, for us it is okay. Like that. Why this conception? Because we think something that is not visible. So, or is a very, very ancient, old. So we take that. We do not know whether Hanumanji was there or not. And people, they believe that Hanumanji is eternal. Some people, they laugh at it. So it goes on. But the human being, he is God, is very difficult to understand. Very difficult. And that is the reason again and again the God is coming in the human form to teach us. And he is suffering. He knew that he is going to suffer. He is suffering. But still he comes. Why? To guide us. Now the question is, why he created the bad thing and why unnecessarily he has to teach us. So this, there is no real answer. It's a Leela. As we are reading from here, the second skanda, third stanza and 13th verse, Eko nanatvam annichan. Eko, the one, nanatvam, to become many, annichan, desiring to be many. Who asked him to think in this way? No one can ask that question. Can we? It's the God's will. That's why Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna said, Daiva Leela, it is his Leela. Mayaya Vastrijat Trida. Now here, Mayaya is not actually real. If a person, if we think the God as a person, as a being, is making the three parts, then what will happen? Thank you. If he is thinking in that way, then what happens? The three parts, then the God is divided. If the God is divided, naturally, there is no supreme God, it cannot be. So philosophically, we cannot go in that way. So how the God made himself three? This here, the Shankara says, actually it's an apparent appearance. It's not true, it's not real. All these things that you see again and again, the Vedantin, they say, it's not true. Including me, I am also not true. And what is the difference between a tree and me? Manifestation of the consciousness is a little more in me than the tree. The tree is also having the same reflection of the consciousness, but the manifestation of the consciousness is less. That's why we call it inert, the stone, inert. But human being, conscious, and look at the Buddha, look at the Jesus Christ, look at the Hazrat Muhammad, look at the great soul. And there are more. Hundreds and thousands of people are worshipping them. Why? Because that divinity manifested in a maximum in them. So what is the difference? Difference is manifestation of the consciousness. Where from the consciousness come? It is already there. So now what we should do? That is the question was asked by Kapila's mother Devahuti to his son, to her son. The father, Kardama, he said, now the son is born, my duty is over, I will go back. Because his mind was 90%, 99% mind was always attached with the Brahman. So he left the hearth and home and became a monk. Kapila, he also got himself ready to go. Then the mother told, what will happen to me? Father is already liberated. You are also liberated. Won't you think about me? Because I am looking after the whole property, the household, and I am attached. I cannot simply say, go away. Because I have to help you and your father to feed them. I have to go and purchase the groceries. Who is doing all these things? Me. Why? For you. And I am bound. You will leave me like this? So the Kapila said, okay. This is the conversation between the mother and the son. So if we find this way, it says, in this creation, this has been divided into 4 time zones: Satya, Treta, Dapar, and Kali. We know that. And Devahuti, this conversation was going on. We will go to a little philosophy instead of other things. In that philosophy, we find Bhagavat Purana, which we are studying now, is the famous books of bhakti, the love of God. But what type of bhakti? When the Kapila is giving the instruction to her mother, to his mother, we find the Kapila is also speaking, you people are making great mistake. I am present everywhere, but you are worshipping me. Look at this word. I am present everywhere, and you are worshipping me in the temple. You are making a great mistake. Again, that Advaita Vedanta. Swami Vivekananda, when he returned back from the Europe, the whole of India, they were very happy, and they were giving a reception in the Madras. And Madras, there is a Parthasarathi temple. It's a very famous temple. Still it is there. So Parthasarathi temple, they wanted to give him, or to honor him. Vivekananda, a great scholar and orator, so obviously they wanted him to. Thousands of people came to listen. There was no microphone. So Vivekananda went on the chariot, the horse-drawn chariot, and on the top of it he stood and he spoke to the Madrasis. And in that time, very orthodox people. And at that time he was telling, you are worshipping your Krishna in this temple? Standing before that temple, he was telling, you are worshipping Krishna in this temple? And look at that. And there were some poor people, their hearts were there, dirty, poor. And your Krishna is living over there. You are not serving them. The Krishna who is suffering in the human form over there, you never care for that. You never go to them. You never feed them. And you are coming and worshipping here in this temple in the stone image. Krishna will be more happy if you. And these are bold words in those times. And he said that. And that's all true. So Kapila Upadesha, we find this type of sentences. One of our Swamiji, after he was the president of the Ramakrishna Mission, one of the presidents, Swami Ranganathanandaji. And he used to quote again and again this verse. The Kapila is telling his mother, you are making a great mistake. And you are going and worshipping me in the shrine, in the temple, in an image, iron image, ignoring me who is there outside, in like this all being. So the Ramakrishna Mission, they started the Vedanta, the practical Vedanta on the basis of this. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna also said, if you can see God by closing your eyes, how come that you can't see God with open eyes? God is everywhere. So this is the wonderful teaching of the Vedanta. Now the Bhakti, when we are learning about the Bhakti, we find here that there is a Jnana Bhakti and also Bhava Bhakti. I have taken this from a book of Swami Tapasyanandaji. He was also a great soul, the great monk of a Ramakrishna order. He was for a long time in charge of the Madras Mart, Swami Tapasyanandaji. I met him personally, Ranganathanandaji also all met. So these are the great souls. And the Tapasyanandaji, he is mentioning in his book, in the introduction of the Kapila Upadesha, that Jnana Bhakti, devotion to the Supreme Being based on the realization of all pervasiveness of the Supreme Being and become one with that. I will repeat. To become one with that. Devotion, wholehearted concentration to the Supreme Being, and after the realization that that Supreme Being is all pervasive, He is everywhere. After that realization, merging with that Supreme Being. That is called Jnana Bhakti. Devotion through knowledge, Jnana Bhakti. As we heard, Abadhuta is telling, Ahameva Shiva Paramartha iti. I am that Lord Supreme. Then Bhava Bhakti. There is another Bhakti, another devotion. Loving intensely the God with form. loving intensely the God with form, it does not want to become one with it. So this is the two difference. One is loving God as all pervasive, everywhere. And at the same time, loving God as the only one image or statue or picture or one personality. So these two types, the Jnana Bhakti and Bhava Bhakti. The Jnana Bhakti we have gone through the text of the Avadhuta Gita, and again we find in this book also. And Bhagavan Vishnu in his incarnation in Kapila. But the difference between our Kapila is also speaking of the highest truth. And Avadhuta, Dattatreya Avadhuta told the highest truth. But Dattatreya Avadhuta just expressed his experiences, his realization, never cared to give you why and how. No philosophy. He never tried to analyze, he never bothered about whether people will accept it or not. That is the difference. Avadhuta never bothered about the people whether they will accept it or not and how they will accept, because to him there was nothing but the consciousness, whom to teach and how to teach. Then that incident happened, Swami Brahmananda, he was then the president of the Ramakrishna order. We can say the first president. So the first president was Swami Vivekananda, but then officially he became the president, Brahmananda. Famous, known as Rakhal Maharaj. Gospel we read. And he used to, most of the time, he was with open eyes sitting over here, and sometimes used to sit inside a small garden, or sometimes fishing, like that. He never catch any fish, but he used to sit, pretending that he is doing that, while people won't disturb him. With an ankle, he'll go and sit. All the time, his eyes looking, but at the same time not looking at all, not noticing anything. So that was wonderful. So Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna used to say, when he was young, practicing, Sri Ramakrishna Dev, he said, whenever I look at him, my mind goes so high into that Advaita Bhava. Why? Because the Supreme Being. Why? He's constantly thinking of God. So seeing him was almost realization. So that is Rakhal Maharaj. He was sitting on a bench. And some of the young novices, new recruit, and naturally to develop the monkhood, to develop the spiritual, the mentality, it takes time. We come from the family, so many naturally, different families, different cultural background, different type of people, naturally it is. And the manager of that time of the Belur Math was Swami Premananda, another direct disciple of Sri Ramakrishna. He came and complained to the president. Naturally he will come. So you say, Raja, another name was Raja, that was given by Swamiji. Raja, you should scold these young people. They are not listening to me. They are not following the time. So you should scold, because you're the president. You must do that. Then Rakhal Maharaj, Raja Maharaj, turned to him and said, Dada, Dada means the elder brother. They used to call themselves like that. I don't see anyone else except Sri Ramakrishna. Whom I am going to scold? Whom shall I scold? These young boys, I don't see as young boys. I see the Sri Ramakrishna in those forms, making prank and behaving like that. I cannot scold Sri Ramakrishna. This we find here. The same God in every being. This is also bhava. This is also devotion. But the devotion in what way? Devotion that my God has become everything. The last few days I was observing a wonderful, great movie from the Muslim world, Sufism. Then the Sufis mystics, so they, how they are practicing exactly that how we do. Same way, same practices, and same way teaching. The one person came, is a new novice, though he was holding a big post. But he has come, and then afterwards he has taken the initiation from that guru. Guru was completely uneducated. But the disciple, he was a judge, one-time judge of the same locality. So obviously, he was thinking that we should do in this way, we should do in that way. And Guru told, you better go away. Don't be with me. Go away from here. And he left. And afterwards he understood the great mistake I have done, not getting any peace. Then again came back. The Guru told, okay, if you like to be here, take this, feed this dog. If there is a stray dog, good, feed this dog regularly. And if it goes away, then you have to go and search. That means you have to sit by the side of the dog all the time, watching that it is not going away. It was not possible for him, and the dog went away. Then afterwards the Guru told, you go and find in the shops and in the marketplaces, it must go gone over there. He went to the one-time judge of that same locality. And people, they used to respect him so much. Now this man is going like a beggar, searching for the dog. He himself was thinking, what I am doing actually? I came to realize God and I am searching for a dog. What is it? So he was going on searching, and all people, they were asking, what happened, sir? What he was searching? He couldn't say that I am searching a dog. Then ultimately he found that the dog, then the daughter of that teacher, she told, the dog is a stray dog, mostly goes to that forest. It never goes to the market. Then he said, why Guru said that? The daughter said, I don't know, but you will find the dog over there and I found him. It was sitting over there. He went over there, found the dog, and while coming back, he met his friend. He also became the judge, same batch, and they were very close friends. Very interesting. That friend, the judge told, my God, what has happened to you? Are you becoming mad? So that mental tension was going on. Then the Guru told, you have to break your ego. See, our teaching. Same teaching. You have to break your ego. Why? I did that to break your ego. Unless you break your ego, you will never be able to understand. So this is the philosophy and the practice. Philosophy is okay. And what is the practice? Breaking the ego. Why? This is the ego that is standing in between God and me. I am in reality God. But I don't understand that because of my ego. I am always separating myself from the God, thinking I am a male, I am a female, I am rich, I am poor, I am educated, I am uneducated. So many epithets. One after another I am going on, putting on that. So what is the ultimate thing? Completely remove it. And have the dependence on the God. That's called Bhava Bhakti. If you cannot have the Jnana Bhakti, then we have to develop the Bhava Bhakti. And we find in that Darshana, it goes on telling in this way. Shaunaka is a great sage. The Shaunaka, he is announcing, in order to reveal the knowledge of the Atman to men, the Lord, though in himself birthless, embodied himself by the power of his own Maya. As Kapila, the propounder of the doctrine of Samkhya. The Samkhya Darshan, who did it? All is the Hindu, they will say, a great person means God himself. Why? Well, otherwise it is not possible. Unless and until you are having the direct connection with God, the source is God, all knowledge in God, unless and until you are having that direct source, particularly spiritual knowledge is not possible. So whenever anyone, anywhere has the direct contact with the God, his teachings completely changes. his life and behavior completely changes. And we can understand this is the God. And you must be remembering, this is the December is coming, and the great soul who was born, they say, there's a lot of controversy, on the 24th December, that was the eve, and he is famous as the Lord Jesus, and he was born. What the people first found? 3 wise men from the east. Why? They always calculate, go on calculating like this. What is happening? The stars are changing the positions. Some great things are going to happen. And then they calculated and found that the star is moving, and that must be a power is coming down. And curious and with all devotion, they came all the way from the east to find that the Lord was born over there. So we know the story, the 3 great wise men from the east. So that was the Lord is taking birth. We believe it. And we have the proof. What is the proof? Look at the behavior. What is the proof that God was born as Krishna? Look at the behavior. How he behaved, how he lived. He could be the emperor of the whole India in those days. Undivided India, huge. But rather, he used to always take the side of the righteous people, good people, and then fighting with the bad people, and also giving the philosophical teaching so that the people who are not in the vortex of this life can develop the spiritual life. This is Krishna. So naturally we can obviously accept that Krishna was God. Look at the life of Sri Ramachandra. Now Ramachandra has found his home ultimately. Yesterday only all Indians they know. It was a great excitement. So whether Rama was born in Ajodhya or not, so almost all over the world people, they were observing. As in the America you observe the American president election, we were observing what is the result is coming from the Supreme Court judgment. Ultimately they say, yeah, Rama was born. And who is this Rama? Why we consider him as God? Look at his life. So this is the proof a person can never be an ordinary person just because his father gave a word, and that was not the father was denying. Just by chance I told this, your mother, that I will, mother means the stepmother, that I will listen to her and give her a boon. That's because she saved one time, she helped me. So, and now she is asking that you should be banished and her son should be the king. Naturally, father is also supporting him. And father told, you better arrest me and become the king. The whole population, they used to love him so much. This young Ramachandra and his wife and her father was a very famous man. Even then the Ramachandra told against going against his father even and his wife and each and everyone. He said, no, once you have given the word, it must be kept. Because human being is just like that. Why? Other things are changing, father. Nothing will remain. Ajodhya will never remain. But these will remain. We gave the father, my father gave the word but didn't keep. That should not be. That is called the religion. That is the reason we always respect Sri Ramachandra as God himself. And if we see that Sri Ramachandra, what he is, how he is behavior everywhere, according to that situation you should understand him, not according to the present day. In those days, Sri Ramachandra was establishing a society, a civilized society. Without understanding that, when we judge, why he behaved like that, why he did that? No, that's because in those days it was necessary. And the first and foremost thing is Satya, the truthfulness. He knew who he is. But at the same time, he was accepting all and every one. There are people, different type of people. And we Hanuman, they are not the just animals, they were human beings. And the Hanuman, if you read in the Valmiki Ramayana, they were having the great kingdom almost everywhere. The millions of population was there, very powerful, very intelligent people. But they used to worship in that form, Hanuman, the nature worshipper. So Ramachandra accepted them in each and every step if you read. So I should not enter into Ramachandra, I should come back to this, the Kapila, and it says the same Vishnu who was born as Rama and his brother. Again, if you read, Vishnu was taken the form of Sri Ramachandra. Why? To establish dharma, righteousness. What is that dharma? If you give the word, you should not deviate from that. Nowadays, the people, of course there are many other problems, but still, look at it. Since I have given the word in the marriage that I am going to have protect my wife all through my life, how can you break it? How can you break it? When we are taking the sannyasa, nobody forced us to take the sannyasa. Only thing that we took the vows of poverty, chastity, honesty. How can I break it? There is no one behind me to look after me. Secretly I can do, but whom I am actually, nobody is seeing me doesn't mean that I am going to do that. No, it is me. So that is called dharma. The dharma means this. Once I have given the word till death, I am not going to give away like that. So this he is telling again and again in different form. As the form of the Kapila he came, and the Kapila became the Shamkhya. And very peculiarly, the Lord Vishnu, who took the form of the Kapila, and he propagated the Samkhya philosophy. And in the Samkhya philosophy, the atheistic doctrine, they don't believe in God. The Shankar never believes in God. Who you are praying? There is no God. It is up to you. Look at it. Atheistic philosophy. The Lord Vishnu, he took the form of a Kapila. And then the Lord Vishnu is giving this. Now this is the philosophy. And we find that Shankar system, it gives that in this way, the two realities are there. The one is mutually opposite, very peculiar. One is subjective, another is objective. The subjective is the Purusha, objective is the Prakriti. The Purusha and the Prakriti. Purusha of the Shankar is the countless multiplicity of individual center of pure consciousness. A pure consciousness. In each and every individual center, it is a pure consciousness without capacity for any kind of work. Consciousness, but cannot work. This is the concept of the Shankhya. Each and every individual is nothing but the pure consciousness, but the consciousness itself cannot work up to this. Though an individual, Purusha, is Vishnu, all-pervading but non-contactual with the Purushas of the other. Now, second point. First is, all being are nothing but the consciousness. This is first. And the consciousness Kapila termed as Purusha. What is that Purusha? Is residing inside a small house, heart. And inside the heart, that is the consciousness, each and every individual having the consciousness. If that is so, then we are all same. If we are all same, if somebody is suffering, I should also suffer, but I don't do. Why then? They say again, though it is reflecting in every individual, but at the same time, they are all separate. These are the very subtle points of the Samkhya. So maybe again in the next year we will take up the philosophies and there in details we will discuss. So different philosophy and different the viewpoint. Individual, each is the Purusha. Purusha means consciousness, and they are different. Kevala. Kevala means alone. So that's why it says Sat Karma Bhada. Kevala, Kevala individual. I am completely separate than my father, then my mother, then brothers, then friends, each and every one. I am separate, but I have the consciousness. So this is one point. Opposed to the Purusha is this eternal, the subjective eternal is Prakriti, objective. Now subjective and objective. If the subjective is consciousness, which is known as the Purusha, exactly opposite is the Prakriti, is an objective. Now this is called Abhyakta. It is known by the various names of Pradhana, this Prakriti, this Shankar says Prakriti, also known as Pradhana, the first category, or Abhyakta, indiscrete. Abhyakta means not manifested. Though uncaused, eternal, partless, omnipresent, like the Purusha, it is just the opposite in all other respect. It is single, insentient, and objective. Purusha is not objective, it is subjective. Why? I am looking. Sometimes the Vedantin, they will say, I am looking at my own image. Who is looking the image? Who is seeing the image? I. Whom I see? I. How it becomes? One is object, another is subject. This little point is a subtle point, try to understand. One is object. I can understand an object through smell, through touch, through sight by seeing, through hearing, through taste, because it is outside. When I taste a tea, I go, oh, this is a very good tea. Okay. But who is tasting? I. How can I understand me then? So from this point we come to conclusion that there must be a subject which is always enjoying the object. If there is no purchaser, who is going to produce so many confectionery things or different type of, maybe cars? No one. Because the purchaser is not there. If the subject is not there, then the object has no value. So here it comes in this way. It is the pradhana. Though uncaused, eternal, partless, this again omnipresent like the Purusha. This Prakriti is almost like the Purusha, but it is opposite. How? It is single, it is insentient, and the objective. Productivity or evolution into a multiplicity is its most important feature and function. Now, what is that Prakriti? It becomes multiple. Purusha never becomes multiple. It is Prakriti is multiple. It manifests in the Vrittis. And these Vrittis, the 23 categories. We know that different categories it will come. So one is Abhyakta Avastha. For the effect is always contained in the cause, in an Abhyakta state, in discrete state. And the evolution means only the manifestation of the already existing entity and not production of anything new. So it says Sat Karma Bhada, Sat Karya Bhada. Sat Karya Bhada. Bhada means philosophy. And Sat Karya means this production comes. Now, to conclude, we can say there are two things. One is consciousness, which is present everywhere, which is eternal, unchanging. At the same time, another part is there and it is subjective. Consciousness is a subjective. And there is another part, That is Prakriti. The Prakriti again is objective. Who created this? The first verse. In the beginning of the discussion, we heard that Supreme Being divided itself in three parts. Do you remember that? In three parts. And in one is the consciousness, pure. Another, the second part is Prakriti, the object. This Kapila, in his philosophy, he said the consciousness is Purusha. The terminology, he gave the name. Consciousness is Purusha. Shankara says Atman. That is Atman, the same consciousness. And the Prakriti, the inert thing, so there it says it is Prakriti. Shankara is also taking, Advaita also taking almost the same stand. But it says, this Kapila says that it never ends. Shankara says it ends. This is the difference. We will come when we will discuss. There is again, in the Prakriti, there are some gunas, Sattva, Raja, Tama. So friends, today we are reading from here that Kapila, who was the Lord, Supreme Lord, the Vishnu himself, he is trying to teach us a wonderful philosophy. If you read the Bhagavad Gita, again the Lord Vishnu in the form of Sri Krishna, and this Lord Vishnu in the form of Sri Krishna is accepting the Kapila again and again, Samkhya Yoga. And this Samkhya, it goes. Only this is nothing but the philosophy, and in that philosophy we understand a very simple thing, though very complicated to practice. Understanding is very okay. One is consciousness, another is inert. And how it goes in this way: Abhimana, Ahamkara, these are the problem. So we are nothing but that same consciousness. At the same time, we are mingled with Prakriti. Prakriti is inert. The Prakriti is creating this problem. How? Ahamkara. I conclude from this verse, and this son, he was giving the advice to his mother, Devavati, and he said, mother told it is all okay, I understand, but why I cannot get the liberation? Answering her, the Kapila is telling, Aham mama abhimana utaihi kama lobha adibihi malaihi beetam yada mana shuddham adukkam asukam samam. Very simple Sanskrit, he said. The freed from the lust and greed, that's all, nothing else. Aham mama abhimana utaihi. Aham and mama, I and my mind. I and mine, this is the only abhimana. Who is I? We can't understand. We can't answer. If you ask yourself, who am I? Then you say, oh, I am the daughter or son of so and so. I was born on such and such date. I was born in that particular place. But that is not the real answer. Who am I? Why I was born into that particular family? No answer actually. So ultimately it comes to this. The I means, the I and me is completely false. But it is so much in this world, so much. I was observing in the nature's the diary, they were showing the penguins, the thousands of penguins. One penguin, I don't know, they were focusing and giving the narration. One penguin, leaving its wife, went for catching the fish, for the feeding. With the fish, when it came back, he found that the wife, thinking that the husband won't return, and is sitting with another male penguin. What was the result? Just like our family, society. Only thing, they were not having the guns, so they were fighting with the flaps and the wings, this very strong wing, fighting. So long they fought. And then ultimately, and one thing was good, then after defeating him, the husband said, whom you are going to choose? And the wife ultimately chose the husband again. Otherwise, that second male was going to die. What is this? In that world, the same. We think that they don't have any feeling. They are having the feeling. And what is the feeling? I and mine. Is anybody is going to take any wrong action with my wife, what the husband will do? The same way the husband reacted over there as the penguin. I and mine everywhere. And you must do, as a householder, you must. This I and mine means that is also dharma. That's also religion. If anyone is trying to do harm to my daughter, to my wife, it is my religion to fight, to protect them. That is it. But I and mine is there. We all know it. Where from this I and mine came? So here the philosophy says, the problem is in that only. Aham mama abhimana utvaihi. Just because of the I and mine, this ahamkara, this ego is acting. What comes as the effect? Kama, lobha, adibhi, malaihi. These impurities. Malai means impurities. What is the impurities? Kama and lobha. Two. The kama and lobha, the desire, kama, and lobha, the greed. And the intense form of desire is the greed. These and adibhi, etc. And that is not explaining here. Bhitam yada manashuddham. If you can give away that, your mind is pure. So what is the purity? Only fasting? Only going to the holy places? Only repeating the name of holy God? The purity comes only after giving up the ego. So I and mine should go away. I was telling you that story of the Darvish. In the Sufi, they call it Darvish. Darvish means a saint or a monk. What is the teaching? You must crush your ego. In our teaching, must crush your ego. You are a great speaker, a writer, people like you, a very good singer, people like you, but be careful. Always, every time you should think, I am doing it as a service to my Lord, not for myself. Otherwise, again you are going back to that old position. Bhitam yada, when you give up, what? This me and mine, this kama krodha, this kama lobha, then manashuddha mind is, then the result, adukkam, there is no misery. And asukham samam, there is no misery and there is no suffering. You become eternally happy. So that is the teaching of the Kapila to his mother. Friends, we will, from the next, we will enter into another great text, Uddhava Gita. I was just giving, in a side by side, one is Avadhuta and then the Kapila, but now we will enter into Uddhava Gita. That is also a part of our Bhagavata. Thank you very much. So let us chant this mantra and we end. Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudramaruta Stunnanti Dipyaistavai Vedai Sangha Padakramopanishadai Gayanti Yam Samaga Dhyanavastita Tadgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yogina Yasyantam Navidu Surasuragana Devaya Tasmai Namaha. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat. Friends, many of you know that we are going to purchase a property in the downtown Chicago. Downtown means the northern part of Chicago city, very close to that park, Lincoln Park. It's a very nice place. Almost everything is done. It's an old church, Methodist church. And the coming 25th November, you are going to pay them the check and getting the key. So I will request you to pray that the new venture that we are going to take up, there it is not that here the shrine and temple and puja, there mainly will stress on home of harmony, that all religion, all philosophies are leading to the same goal. The conflict just because of misunderstanding. As I was telling, quoting you, that's why I was observing that. For last 2-3 days in breaks, I was observing how they are training the darwish, the Muslim Sufi saints, just like us. And all their teachings, just like us. And the same thing they were telling, break your ego and merge with the prema. They say the Lord is full of love. So the prema. Love, love, love. So they again and again, same thing. We don't understand. The dress is different, features are different, language is different, and we are shunning them. Oh my God, they should not. But if we can understand, we know the same road, going to the same goal, only their terminologies are separate, nothing else. And that is exactly what Sri Ramakrishna practiced all through his life. That is exactly what Swami Vivekananda propagated. And that is exactly what true Hinduism is. Sanatana Dharma means embracing everything. Sanatana Dharma is just like the ocean. And all the rivers are coming and pouring and making that ocean. So this is the beauty. To understand that and to practice that, we are trying to purchase that property, and it is not a gift. We have to purchase that. And to purchase that, the thing always in the beginning we say, we are not going to earn anything, now we are going out to get donation. So, because to purchase means you have to pay them. Most of the amount is now collected, but for using in this country, the rule is, the moment you are a new the owner, you have to follow all the present day rule. So that you have to change these, you have to add these, you have to make these, so many other, you people know it. So obviously that needs another $500 to $600,000. So that is the other thing, that is the only thing, otherwise purchasing amount is always there. So please pray to the Lord that the effort that we are going to take with all of us together, this should be successful over there. So thank you, but official inauguration will be afterwards. I will inform you, invite you to come over there. And slowly, slowly, different activities will start over there, like the Home of Harmony, a platform to discuss different religion, and there will be the School of World Religions, online and offline, and we can learn this Hinduism online, just like this, and other religions also. There will be a library of different religious books available. For the children, the cultural school, so that they will learn different type of cultures and the religion and the different society, so they will grow with a friendly mind. And of course, a few rooms will be there for those who are sincerely trying to understand the religion. They can come, stay, read books, practice meditation. Meditation at that guided meditation courses I will conduct over there, and also the stress free the yoga. So that is also will be practiced. So these are the things we will practice. This will be as it is, as we are practicing every day, it will continue, and that will be an addition to the activities, extension of the same Vedanta society. Thank you very much. Expression. How the prana consciousness. That consciousness এখন কখনো বলছে পুরুষা, কখনো বলছে আত্মা, কখনো বলছে সর্বত্র, তুমি বলছেন, তাই তো? ভালো লাগে কিন্তু সেটাও ভগবানের থেকে, কিন্তু ভগবান ওর মধ্যে কনসিয়াসনেসটা দিলেন আমাদের দিলেন কনসিয়াসনেস, কিন্তু ভীষণ অব্যক্ত।
কনসিয়াসনেসটা চেঞ্জ করছে না, প্রকৃতি চেঞ্জ করছে,
প্রকৃতি চেঞ্জ করছে, কনসিয়াসনেস
চেঞ্জ করছে।
এগুলো ঠিক রিয়েলাইজেশন না হলে পরে এগুলো
হ্যাঁ, এই তো বাকি